The woman's finger sliced the air like a dagger, landing squarely in front of the man in the royal blue jacket. "You don't belong here, sir. This queue is for first class only," she said, her voice sharp, her tone dismissive. Several passengers paused, turning their heads. A few whispered, and one even chuckled quietly. The tall, sharply dressed black man on the phone remained calm, although his furrowed brow said otherwise. He said nothing yet, simply holding up one finger to pause the call. His other hand, relaxed at his side, curled slightly into a fist. Behind him, uniformed airport security officers stood rigid, watching closely. One leaned to another and murmured, "Probably another entitled TikTok prankster." Before we continue, if you are watching our video for the first time, you're highly welcome to your favorite channel, Elliot Stories. Please bless and support us by hitting that subscribe button. Turn on your notification bell to get notified for more heartwarming stories coming your way tomorrow and never to miss any. Share to friends who love stories filled with twists, inspiration and good morals, and also to loved ones who value respect, equity, and justice no matter the cost. Where are you watching from? Please tell us in the comments. We love seeing how far our story travels. And to other beautiful and hard-working YouTubers, let's interact in the comment section. I hope to see you soon. Now, back to the story. The man's name was Donovan Blake, CEO of Orion Tech Aerospace, a billion-dollar firm responsible for designing the very aircraft he was about to board. Except, right now, he wasn't a CEO. Not to these people. Not to the flight attendant who hadn't even asked for his boarding pass. Not to the security officers who had silently begun surrounding him. Not to the few gawking onlookers whispering, "He probably forged his ticket." "Sir," the attendant pressed, now growing irritated, "I'm going to have to ask you to move. You're holding up the line." Donovan looked at her calmly and finally spoke. "Do you want to see my boarding pass, or are you assuming I can't afford it?" That response triggered a shift. Her posture stiffened, her eyes narrowing. The security officer behind her stepped forward. "Is there a problem here, Miss Garner?" "No," she said quickly, "just a trespasser. He doesn't have a first-class pass." Donovan didn't flinch. He reached slowly into his inside coat pocket and pulled out his ticket. He handed it over without a word. The security officer scanned it, paused, scanned it again, then looked up. His first class. Seat 1A. An awkward silence spread like fog. Miss Garner's face turned pale. The passengers who chuckled earlier shifted uncomfortably. The second security officer frowned. "Sir, apologies for the inconvenience." But Donovan wasn't looking at them anymore. He turned away, resumed his phone call, and walked silently toward the lounge area. His voice remained calm, but his words now carried weight. "Renee, I need a full report on Global Wing Airline staffing at Gate 22B. Immediately. This won't go unnoticed." In the airline lounge, time seemed to freeze. Donovan sat quietly, tapping away on his phone. Behind him, the gate agents, security staff, and Miss Garner whispered anxiously. Something in the air had shifted. 20 minutes later, a tall man in a Navy uniform entered the lounge. His badge read, Regional Director, Global Wing Airlines. He made a beeline for Donovan. "Mr. Blake, I deeply apologize. I just got off a call with our HQ." Donovan stood. "Save it. I've dealt with enough of these apologies to know when they're meant to protect a company, not correct a culture." The man fumbled. We'd like to offer you compensation. An upgrade to our private suite, and..." Donovan raised one finger again. "You don't know who I am, do you?" The man blinked. "I'm not sure I follow." "I'm the founder of Orion Tech," Donovan said, handing over his business card. "We've been in talks with your executive board to manufacture your next fleet. Or at least we were." The man's eyes widened in horror. "Effective immediately," Donovan continued, "the deal is off." He turned and walked to the gate. The boarding announcement had just come over the intercom. Miss Garner was now visibly shaken. "Sir," she stammered as he approached. "I didn't know. I didn't mean to." "You didn't need to know who I was," he interrupted, stopping just inches from her. "You just needed to treat me like any other human being with a boarding pass." She stood speechless. But the story didn't end there. As Donovan entered the jet bridge, his phone buzzed again. Renee, his executive assistant, had sent him a report. It detailed years of subtle and unchecked racial profiling incidents reported by minority passengers on Global Wing Airlines. including multiple lawsuits quietly settled out of court. He sat in his seat, 1A, and sent one final email before takeoff. Within minutes, his legal team, PR officers, and a crisis management firm were mobilized. By the time the plane reached cruising altitude, #close global wing was trending on every social media platform. The story had gone viral. Video clips taken by nearby passengers showed Donovan being mistreated. Others shared personal testimonies. News outlets caught on. Sponsors pulled back. Stockholders panicked. The following morning, the CEO of Global Wing Airlines, Meredith Crane, called Donovan personally. "We've fired the staff involved, suspended the gate manager, and will issue a public apology." Donovan paused, letting the silence burn. "You've done that before," he said. "But you never changed the system." Crane swallowed hard. "What do you want, Donovan?" "I want systemic reform," he said. "And I want it public. Announce a board of diversity oversight. Launch transparent hiring practices. And implement bias training from top to bottom. Otherwise..." He didn't finish the sentence. She understood. Within days, the airline's website bore a new banner, "We hear you. We're changing." Press conferences followed. Media campaigns launched. Miss Garner was no longer employed, but Donovan insisted her name not be dragged through the mud. He didn't want revenge. He wanted change. Weeks passed. People began flying Global Wing again, but now, something was different. A new warmth met passengers at check-in. Officers actually greeted them with kindness. Attendants smiled for real. And Donovan? He was back to designing better skies, stronger engines, and fairer contracts. But he'd also written a book titled Invisible in First Class, a CEO's journey through bias in the skies. It became a bestseller, not because it called out individuals, but because it called on all of us to be better. And to never judge a man by his seat, or his skin. Moral of the story? Sometimes, all it takes is one phone call to shake the roots of injustice. But more importantly, it takes courage to correct wrongs with grace, not vengeance. Donovan Blake taught a lesson that day, one that went far beyond first class. This story was humbly crafted and brought to you by your favorite channel Elliot Stories. Catch you on the next one. Huge appreciation from Elliot Stories.